Hello, guys. How is everybody doing? I'm very excited to have a special guest with us today. His name is Chris Oxford. He's a Remax agent in Remax Alliance in Denver, Colorado, and he is also my son-in-law. Hello, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing today?
Oh, doing fantastic. Thank you for joining me for this exercise.
Thanks
Uh,
for having me.
Of course. Okay, Chris, let's get right to it. Well, first I'm going to ask you, how long ago did you get your real estate license and how long ago did you join Remax Alliance?
Yeah, so I got my real estate license in March of 2019, and immediately joined Remax. So on March 20th of 2020 will be my year mark.
Wow, interesting. So with the Remax Alliance, you have less than a year, I believe.
Little bit less.
A little bit less than a year. Okay. Now, the first year for an agent, whether they are with Remax or with anyone, it is challenging. And and I believe that a new agent is always being pulled in many different directions. So that's the first question I will ask you is you probably tried several different ways to generate leads and business before finding what truly works. So what did you find that works?
The three things that work best for me are focusing on my sphere of influence, doing open houses, and circle prospecting. So with my sphere of influence, I kind of focus on doing some guerrilla marketing. So I'll send a mailer to them, or I will give them one phone call about per quarter. My goal is to reach one person in my sphere per day and just catch up with them, have a conversation, see how they're doing, and see if I can help in any way. So that's kind of my focus with my sphere of influence. Writing handwritten notes has been very useful,
Really?
and so just trying to keep in contact and keep me in the front of their mind in case they need my service. So that's kind of what I do with my sphere of influence. With the open houses, I have a goal to.
Before we move on to open houses, I have a question about the sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Is So first you created a database. Did you have, how did you create that? Excel, Word, a CRM? Where do you have that?
Yeah, I created it on an Excel spreadsheet, just wrote down everybody that I could possibly think of. I mean, it's literally far as wide as, old coworkers, old friends, family, family's friends. So anybody that I could think of went on that list on my Excel spreadsheet.
Can you give us an idea how many people do you have in your database?
Yeah, I have a little over 200.
Okay,
And I
okay,
started with about 150 or so. So it's grown about 50 people. Um,
okay. Interesting.
yeah,
And
my
how do you contact all of these people? Do you contact them all in the same way or different ways? What do you do?
well, I try to contact them a couple different ways. One being a phone call, one person a day from my sphere. Because my sphere is relatively small compared to many other agents. Most people try to call about 5 a day, but since mine is so, kind of on the smaller end, at this point I call one a day until it grows larger, and then I'll be doing more phone calls, obviously. Then after those phone calls, I find it a nice touch to write a handwritten note. So they've heard my voice, but then now they're receiving something in the mail written from me saying, hey, I appreciated our conversation. Let's catch up soon. Something simple along those lines.
Nice.
Yeah. Then I will send some marketing that I do via email and also personal snail mail. So, and I have a couple things that I've sent out before that I'd like to share with you.
Of course.
Um, Here's a magnet here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a magnet with the Broncos schedule, Denver Broncos football
Very
schedule on it.
nice.
Yeah. So
Go Broncos.
yeah, go Broncos. That's right. So they receive that in the mail, every time the season's going to start. So there's something that they're getting physically too. And then a couple other things as far as, mailers go. When I have a listing, I'll send out a little information on the new listing that I have. So they'll get some information in the mail about that, but it also shows them that, when I do have business, that I'm, promoting it, and that, I'm out physically working too. So
Right.
yeah, they get that. And a couple of other things is, like here's one that I did for Halloween. It just says, looking for a beautiful home. So funny stuff like that. They'll get that in the mail. And then this is the last thing that I have. I send this market information. It's in a packet. So, but in here is just, a handful of different information regarding the real estate market. Has graphs and just kind of shows a little bit of, that you have a lot of knowledge in the market, and that you want to help them if that opportunity arises.
Wow, that positions you really well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice, man. That's awesome. Now, it seems like expensive stuff. It's like, do you spend a lot of money on marketing, or do you have a budget? How do you handle that? Because in the first few months, you hadn't made any sales, and you will tell us about your sales later, but yeah, how does that work with the budget?
Yeah. So, as far as budgeting, my personal budget is to do about $100 per month of budgeting. So like you said, not having a sale for those first few months can kind of stretch what you have, but I try to keep the costs low and do something that's going to have the most impact. And I feel those marketing avenues are the best way to make a high impact with a low amount. So I would, encourage people to try and use the resources that Remax has, as far as all of the free marketing that they provide, to take full advantage of that, because there's so much free, great content that Remax provides for you.
Wow, agree, agree. Thank you for mentioning that. Nice. Okay, if you want, we can move on to open houses.
Yeah. So my goal with open houses is to do about 4 to 6 open houses per month, where I'm physically holding the open house and am the agent available there. So the thing that I found that works great for open houses is providing information like market updates or community information, something that you have on hand that's an item of value that you can give to the people who come into the open house, to show that you are there to provide a service, and that you want to be the person that they come to when they need that service provided. So I found that very crucial. So and with that, I found also adding the people to my database that come to the open houses. So they might not be looking specifically in that point in time or at that specific house, but keeping up with them and showing them that you are available and would love to work with them is a great way to, earn their trust and to earn their business potentially.
Nice. Okay, cool. Open houses is a good way to generate leads for you. That's fantastic. And what's the third one that you mentioned?
The third one is going to be called circle prospecting.
What is that?
Circle prospecting is a form of communicating to you could be to your farm area, or to neighbors around a listing that you might have. So basically, you obtain neighborhood information, and you get the neighbors' phone numbers, and say with this listing that I had, when the first week that I had that listing, I'd call the neighbors, introducing myself and asking them, if they had an real estate agent that they worked with. And if they didn't, that I would love the opportunity to work with them when that day comes. And so you can also make that an avenue to adding people to your database.
Okay, so let me
Does
make
that make
sure I
sense?
understand.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I understand. So circle prospecting, and with this, what you do is once you have a listing, you market that listing in the surrounding area, but not only market that listing in particular, but also offer your services, so that if they want to buy or sell, or they know anyone that wants to buy or sell, you make yourself available. Did I describe this correctly?
That's 100% correct. Yeah, because many people obviously may not be ready to buy or sell in that moment. Maybe they are, and then that's great too. But
Of course.
most of the time they're not. But you've allowed yourself to introduce yourself to them, and now they know of you. They know you're doing business, and you've told them that you're available for and would love the opportunity for when that day comes.
Of course. We want them to know that it's their lucky day because they met you.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
There you go. No, okay, let's move on to the second question, which is what did you try that ended up being a waste of time? Because everybody goes through this, right? It's like one of those things that is like, oh my gosh, that didn't work. I shouldn't even have tried that. So what
Yeah.
doesn't work?
I've tried about everything as far as lead generation at this point. I've done door knocking, cold calling, sphere of influence, social media. I think all of those are good, a good use of your time. The thing that I would have to say is you have to stick with it. I've definitely got caught up in the shiny object syndrome, if you will, because there is so much content in real estate that is provided, for free. If you go to YouTube, there's tons of teachers that'll be willing to, give you out free content. But I've gotten caught up listening to one person, for a week or so, and then not applying what I've learned there, and then jumping to another person, another teacher, and they might have two completely different methods of lead generation, and um, they may, I don't know how to say, have combative information that doesn't go together.
Mhm.
So I think the number one thing is you have to find something that you're comfortable with doing, that you like to do, and sticking with it for the long term.
Consistency is the key word
Consistent.
then.
Yeah, consistency is the key, because yeah, I've wasted a lot of time jumping around to trying different things because I wasn't seeing immediate results. But I looking back at this last year, no, now it takes time to let those seeds that you plant, harvest, and you got
Mm.
to be kind of patient with it.
You know what you're saying is music to my ears because I feel that many of our agents suffer from that. And what they do is they start doing something and then they stop because they don't see results. Now, the reason why they don't see the results is because it's not because this doesn't work. It is because it takes time for this to work. It is like growing a tree. It's like don't give up on the little seed that you planted. Don't give up. Keep watering it because it will eventually grow. The problem is, but people quit. People get frustrated. They get stressed, and then they stop watering the plant, the seed. They will stop watering the plant because they say, "Oh, this is not gonna work. This is not working. Maybe I made the wrong decision." No, the thing is that it takes time for things to work. I want to make reference to this book. This is Guerrilla Marketing by J. Conrad Levinson. So he has several books, J. Conrad Levinson. This is one of them. This is Guerrilla Marketing for Franchisees, but there are several and they are all very good and they are similar. And this guy says that the number one, no, he says that the marketing rule that is most often forgotten is consistency.
Mm.
People quit. People, they throw the towel, they start doing something else, and then they lose all the effort and money and time that they had invested.
Yeah.
Great point. Thank you. That's amazing.
Thank you. And on that point that you just made, I've definitely made that mistake of moving on too soon and losing the momentum. So I think that's very true.
That's okay. Yeah, well, I guess everybody has fallen into that trap at one point or another.
It's so
Okay,
easy to
let's move
do.
on. Go ahead.
It's so easy to fall into that trap.
Oh yes, yes,
Bec-
totally.
Yeah, especially with so many different, like I said, so many resources out there. It's important to just stay the course and continue to do the things that you're comfortable with and making you kind of grow in those areas, and to not give up too soon. The consistency is key.
Yep, I agree. Now, let's move on to the next question, which is that it's about emotions. Because developing a new career can be an emotional roller coaster. So there are a lot of ups and downs. Did you go through this? And what can new agents do to manage the ups and downs that come with this business?
Yes. I have definitely experienced the emotions, the highs and the lows that come with this business. It can definitely be daunting at times, especially when you feel you're putting in a ton of work and not seeing the results. That can make it feel like you're wasting time and you're wasting energy, and sometimes you're wasting money. It can feel that way. So I've definitely experienced that. But again, I think it's kind of goes back to our last point about you have to have a bit of faith with it to know that someone's done it before you. There's no reason why you can't do it. So that's been a huge is just keeping that in the back of my mind, is knowing that why can't, instead of thinking of, how long is this going to take, thinking how far can I go with this? Having that growth mindset, I think, has really helped me in the emotional side, because, being in that first year, sometimes you feel like you're not an expert, and it can be kind of daunting and very intimidating. But knowing that maybe you're not the expert today, but if you keep giving 100% of your effort and trying to grow, that one day you'll definitely be there. So yeah, that's kind of has helped me a lot. But a couple things that have helped me, strategies that have helped me is, for one, managing your mornings is critical. I think, when you wake up and you do something that fulfills you, it's gonna show through your day. Things, that have worked for me is doing some exercise early in the morning, doing meditation, saying affirmations. Those have all helped me to have a great start to the day, which just leads to more productivity and just a better day overall. And I think that shows when you're talking to people.
Wow, that's very interesting, because everybody goes through ups and downs, right? There is an up when, hey, you're excited about a new prospect, a new client, whether this be a buyer or a seller, and you're all so happy, and yeah, this is going to close, and I'm gonna make this commission, and then it doesn't happen. And then you fall into a low, and everybody goes through that. It's good to remember that most deals don't close. So it is very, very easy to fall into the trap of getting overly excited, and then boom, there is a big drop. Now, I really like what you said about several things that you said are very, very powerful. Number one, you mentioned faith. And you have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in the system. You have to have faith in the Remax brand. You have to have faith in the universe or God, or however you want to call it, right? There
Absolutely.
is that very, very popular book, Think and Grow Rich, which I have here. I have it in Spanish. This version seems, it happens to be in Spanish. Piense y hágase rico, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, this book is about getting rich or accomplishing anything in life, truly. And you know that the word faith is mentioned 127 times in this book. So I totally agree with you. I believe that faith is a big component of what we do. Nice, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you got to stick with it and have that faith to know that it's going to happen. And as long as you're putting in the work, that,
It's like, why
that's all,
not, right?
yeah, and that's all you can control.
Why not? Yeah. And now,
Yeah.
I also believe that it is important to get your family on board, because this is a big project that affects your life, or also your family. What has been your experience trying to get your family's support? Did you go through this?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so grateful that, I have everyone in my family has been so supportive, has been behind me, pushing me to do this and to encouraging me to keep going. I honestly think that is such a crucial thing, because, with those emotional roller coasters that you go through, you need people that are going to continue to push you and encourage you. So I think, if your family isn't on board, it's going to make it that much harder to continue through the hard times. When things are good, it's great. And it's easier. But when, you know, you're having those tough down times, you need somebody that's going to give you that push and that encouragement to just keep going forward.
Agree. It is a big endeavor, and it's like it's happened to me as well. You know, everything big that I have accomplished in life, I haven't done it alone. There is nothing I have accomplished alone. It's always been a team effort, and having my family behind me has been instrumental. Chris, in closing, I know that you don't like to brag about things. You're a humble individual at heart, but would you mind sharing with us a little bit what sales have you closed, and even what prospects are you working on? What do you expect for the next 12 months? So first, what have you closed already?
Yeah. So, for my first year, I had 3 closings. Um, you know, with that, I'm very proud of that. I'm
You should
super
be,
happy
yes.
that I was able to, for one, experience, you know, the full scope of going through the process 3 times. So I got some knowledge in those, you know, deeper knowledge of how the business goes. As far as prospects and stuff like that, I've, you know, grown my database, and in continuing to keep up with the people that I've come in contact with, I'd say I have 4 or 5 good potential clients now. Um, you know, as I'm still growing and I'm still very new, nothing's set in stone. And like you said earlier, you know, it's best not to count on those things until it's closed. But I think, like you said too, having that faith that if I continue to work hard and provide value to these people, that eventually something will come of it. So
Absolutely. Man, Chris, congratulations. I think that you're doing fantastic. 3 deals during the first year is a big accomplishment. And because, you know, I know you and I'm close to you guys, it would not surprise me if during the second year you close at least double, which is 6 deals, or triple or quadruple that. And the third year is going to be even better. So always remember that it is the first year that is the hardest, and you already went through it. That's the good news, man. So, man, awesome. So in closing, is there anything else that you would like to share for in this interview?
No, I just want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for the insight you've given me, the encouragement. And yeah, thank you for all, you know,
Oh,
everything that you've done for me in my real estate career, and just for everyone out there, just to keep pushing forward and keep learning and growing.
oh, thank you for saying that, Chris. You're a person that deserves to receive all the help that one can provide and all the encouragement that one can provide. I truly appreciate being close to you and all that you do. So
Thank
thank
you.
you, and thank you for this interview as well.
Thank you so much, Ricardo.
Take care.